They wiped his memories clean. No name, no past, no pain. But every time he sees blood, the claws react on their own. Because something inside him remembers war. Not the dates, not the faces, just the rage. And the rage is older than any timeline. The X-Men tried to bring him back. But what returned wasn't Logan. It was what Weapon X buried beneath him. The snow didn't care about names. It buried the forest in silence, 1,000 needles of cold stabbing from above, as the wind screamed like something ancient. Beneath it, barefoot, bleeding, shirtless, he moved without knowing why. His body knew the way. His mind didn't. Each breath came ragged. Each step crushed bone-deep snow beneath calloused feet. He didn't know his name, didn't know why there were scars down his ribs, or why 3 metal blades burst from his fists when he clenched them in fear. They felt like memory, like muscle. But when he looked in the cracked mirror of a frozen cabin's wall, the eyes staring back were strangers. Yellow, wild, empty. There was blood on his chest. Not fresh, days old. It had dried into the grooves of his skin like it belonged there. He didn't remember killing anyone. A sound behind him, the creak of a floorboard. He spun without thinking. The claws tore out from his knuckles with a wet SHHK. His body lunged like a predator, faster than his thoughts. A child screamed. The man froze, claws inches from a boy's wide, tear-soaked face. The child held up a can of soup in shaking hands. I was just hungry. The man blinked. The scent of fear hit him like lightning. The claws retracted slowly, like they, too, were ashamed. The boy didn't run. He pointed at a drawing on the wall behind him, childish, scribbled in crayons. It showed the man, standing tall, claws out, in front of a group of people. XS marked the sky. "That's you," the boy whispered. "You saved my mom from a robot last year. You were good then." "I don't," his voice cracked. Gravel and thunder. "I don't remember." "I think you forgot," the boy said. But they didn't. He pointed at the woods. Too late. Gunfire shredded the window. The man didn't think, his body moved. Claws again. He leapt forward, tackling the boy behind the fireplace. 3 bullets slammed into his shoulder. Metal sparked off bone. The boy screamed again, but the man didn't flinch. He rose, and something inside snapped. He was in the snow before his conscious mind caught up. Sprinting, roaring, claws gleaming under moonlight. Shadows in white armor opened fire. None of them lived long enough to reload. He tore through them like instinct, like wrath-given muscle. One tried to run. The man chased. The soldier screamed, falling into the ice. "Weapon X, it's still alive. He's still alive." The man stood over him. Weapon X. That name rang like a bell in his skull. But the sound it made was pain. He dropped the corpse in the snow, heart still beating, head spinning. Weapon X. He didn't know what it meant, but it fit. He walked back toward the cabin, arm bleeding, but not slowing. The bullets had already pushed themselves out. The boy stood outside now, shaking. "Are you gonna kill me?" "No," he said. I think I was built to kill, not kids." "What's your name?" "I don't know." The boy's mother limped out, a bandage across her shoulder. She looked at the dead soldiers in the trees, then back at him. "I saw you years ago," she said. "On TV. You were with the X-Men." "X-Men." Another bell, louder. He held his head. A flash, a red beam of light. A woman with white hair. A man in a wheelchair. A jet flying too fast. A school. Explosions. Screams. Pain. Too fast. It shattered. He dropped to his knees, snow biting skin. "I don't know who I am." She crouched next to him. "You were a hero once. They called you Logan." That name, Logan, it didn't fit in his mouth. It didn't belong to him. But something inside stirred. Not memory. Not yet. Something buried. "I don't think I'm him anymore." "I think you still are," she said. "Because if you weren't, we'd all be dead." He looked at his hands. No claws now. Just blood, scars, trembling fingers. The boy reached forward, small fingers wrapping around one of his. "You can stay," the boy said, "until you remember." He wanted to. But something in the wind changed. Another scent. Oil. Cold steel. Engines. He stood. His voice was distant, like someone else speaking through him. "You need to run." A low rumble vibrated the trees. Helicopters. This wasn't over. He turned to the woman. "They're not going to stop. They're going to send more." "Then let us help you." "I don't know how to be helped." Another image flashed. Blue liquid, syringes, screaming in a metal chair. He looked back at the boy. "Don't wait for me. Forget me. It's safer that way." And then he was gone. Running again. Claws out. The snow followed behind. He didn't know who Logan was. But the claws did. And the claws never forgot war. The helicopter hit the tree line hard. It wasn't supposed to. It came in with thermal lock and orders to neutralize one asset, the man classified as Logan. But before it could stabilize, something metallic tore through the rotor, and the whole thing came apart in flames. He stood below the wreckage as it burned, claws glowing in the orange light. His face reflected in the fire, but he didn't recognize it. Eyes sharp, mouth silent, chest heaving like a beast. He didn't look back, didn't wait for survivors. He turned toward the dark woods and kept walking. The claws slipped back into his skin like they belonged there. He walked until the trees opened into a clearing with a single black structure, rusted gates, surveillance cameras half frozen, the logo on the wall scratched but visible. Weapon X, Outpost 4. His fists tightened. His feet moved before the memory caught up. The steel door was locked. It didn't matter. The claws punched through like butter. Inside, the cold was thicker. Stale air, rotting wires, blood stains, faint echoes of screaming. His own? He moved past the front chamber, through rusted labs and smashed terminals. A hallway stretched into darkness. On the walls were photographs, blurry surveillance captures. All of him. In each, his face looked different. Same eyes, same claws, but younger, wilder, controlled. He stepped forward. The motion sensors came online. Red lights flickered. A low hiss of hydraulics. A door at the end of the hall opened, and a robotic voice rasped from old speakers. Asset reentry detected. Initiating memory playback. Mission Archive 7. Before he could move, the walls around him lit up with holograms. Him, covered in blood, surrounded by bodies. Date, 10 years ago. Location, Mutant Safe House, Montreal. Objective, neutralize all Class A mutant defectors. No survivors. His face didn't blink in the projection. His claws dripped. He fell backward as if punched. The memory tried to surface, but came with knives. He saw a girl, young, terrified, crawling across a wooden floor. She looked up at him and said something. He didn't remember the words, only the scream that followed. He roared. The projection shattered. A terminal came online in the next room. Blue light blinked. He walked in, slower now, like the air weighed 100 pounds. A digital log scrolled across the screen. Subject, Logan. Status, active. Condition, memory wiped, Tier 3. Last programmed mission, red list elimination. Next target, Charles Xavier. He staggered backward. That name. A flash, a voice. Kind, calm. A wheelchair, warmth. Another flash, pain. Betrayal, syringes. Screaming. The screen blinked again. Cerebro link incoming. Secure channel established. The voice that came next was worn and gentle. Familiar. Logan, if you can hear me, please stop running. He froze. Who are you? I'm someone who's tried to help you for a very long time. The voice was Charles. He didn't know why he knew that, but it made his chest hurt. You don't know me, Logan muttered. No, Xavier replied. But you know pain, and you know rage. And if you're listening, it means you still have a choice. Logan stepped closer to the terminal. Why is your name on the list? Silence. Then, because I tried to erase what they did to you. You failed. I know. Logan stared at the glowing screen. I'm not who I was. I'm not your X-Man. No, Charles said. But you're not theirs either. He turned. Left the terminal behind. Left the flickering ghosts. back into the hall of files and fractured memories. In one final room, a glass wall stretched from floor to ceiling. Behind it, walls lined with data drives, rows of black cylinders, thousands of them. A single red button blinked in front of the glass. A plaque read, "Mission Archives, DNA tagged access only." He didn't hesitate, slammed his palm on the pad. The glass slid open with a hiss. The drives lit up, scanning his presence. Every mission, every target, every life taken. One file pulsed brighter than the rest. File 093, subject, Jean Grey. He reached toward it. The second his fingers touched the panel, his mind split open. Flashes. A woman, red hair, smiling, crying, screaming, burning. And him, claws buried in her chest. He fell to his knees, claws stabbed into the floor. He couldn't breathe. Her voice echoed, not from the machine, but inside him. "You had no choice." The fire faded. The pain stayed. He rose slowly, eyes burning with something worse than rage, memory. But it wasn't clarity. It was enough to hurt. The comm crackled. "Logan, please come home." He turned to the camera. "I don't know where that is." He crushed the drive with his hand, walked out into the snow. He didn't want the memories, but the claws remembered them all. And they weren't done yet. The sky burned crimson as the jets screamed overhead. He didn't duck. He didn't run. He walked straight through the ash-streaked clearing while bombs fell in the distance. Every bone in his body throbbed. Not from damage, from something older, deep, rooted in his blood. He followed the trail without knowing where it ended. But the claws knew. They twitched in his arms like animals sniffing home. A dead forest opened into a hidden crater. Steel walls covered in ice. Surveillance towers. Radar arrays. Half buried under snow and time, but alive. Weapon X Prime. He stared at the entrance. For a second, his hand trembled. Then the claws came out. The door opened. Heat burst into his face. Not warmth, artificial, chemical. He stepped into the hallway and was greeted by the silence of old war machines humming like heartbeats. Inside, motion trackers whirred. Red lights blinked to life. He didn't wait. He followed the walls until he reached the vault. No guards, just fingerprints on the console. Someone had been here recently. He placed his hand on the pad. It scanned. Match found. Logan, Tier 1, access granted. The vault opened like a coffin. Inside was a long corridor lined with cryopods, each one labeled X Previa, X Omega, X Savage, X Alpha Active. He kept walking. At the end, a hologram flickered on. A voice he didn't know, but somehow hated. "Welcome back, Weapon X. Your next directive awaits." "I don't take orders anymore." The voice paused. Then it changed. The tone sharpened, more human. "You've already completed the list, Logan, except for one final name." He stared at the far wall. The name blinked on screen. Logan, terminate with honor. He didn't react. The claws did. They tore through the console. Lights died. Alarms howled. Backup systems hissed awake. Steel doors slammed shut behind him. But he didn't move. He looked at the reflection of his own face in the glass wall. The eyes, bloodshot and tired. The knuckles dripping. He touched his reflection. "I was never supposed to survive this." Behind him, the floor split open. Another figure rose from the underground chamber. Same build, same claws, same face. But this one had armor, a control collar, calm eyes. The clone, a perfect version of Logan. No scars, no broken memory. Designation, Logan Prime, the clone said. "You are defective. You are emotional. You are unstable. You're a puppet." I'm the conclusion. They moved at the same time. Claws sparked against claws. Metal tore air. Flesh healed as fast as it shredded. They hit the wall, slammed through machinery, crashed into the pod chamber. One claw missed and shattered the cryo tank. Gas hissed, chemicals flooding the floor. The clone pinned him. "You remember pieces. That's your flaw. Pieces lead to guilt, and guilt makes you hesitate." Logan snarled and headbutted him. The clone staggered. Logan drove both claws deep into the clone's chest, but it didn't stop him. "You're not me," Logan growled. "No," the clone said, eyes glowing. "I'm what you were before the X-Men softened you." They fought like animals, not men. The air filled with the sound of slicing bone and tearing fabric. Each time Logan hesitated, the clone struck harder. But something else was happening. With each hit, more memories returned. Not facts, feelings. A boy in a schoolyard. A hand on his shoulder. A voice saying, "You're not a monster, Logan. You're more than what they made you." Charles, Scott, Jean, Storm. They weren't just hallucinations. They were his. He screamed, not in pain, in resistance, in defiance. And the claws responded. They ignited. The clone paused. "That wasn't programmed." "Good," Logan said. "Then it's mine." He stabbed upward, through the clone's ribs, pierced the control chip. Sparks burst. The clone gasped, looked confused, looked scared. "Why do I feel cold?" Logan held him. "Because you were never alive." The clone died in his arms, heavy, still. Logan stood alone in the flickering lights, covered in his own blood and his own faces. He turned to the console again. The final name still blinked. Logan. He reached for it, hovered, and deleted it. He stepped out of the vault and into the cold night again. Above, a small plane hovered in stealth mode. A voice came through the wind. "Logan, it's Hank. We found you. We can bring you home." "There is no home," Logan said. "You're wrong," Beast replied. "Because the real you made one, with us." Silence. Then Logan turned toward the horizon. "I remember enough to know I'm not done." "Done with what?" He didn't answer. The claws slid back in. The snow started falling again, and he vanished into the trees. One man left alive from a program that built weapons. But the weapon had learned something dangerous, how to choose its own war. The X-Jet touched down in the valley moments after the slaughter ended. Smoke curled from burning trees. Dozens of black-armored bodies lay scattered across the snow, shredded, eviscerated, some barely human anymore. Their blood steamed in the cold. Logan stood at the center, back turned, claws extended, breathing like a wild animal. Cyclops stepped forward slowly, visor glowing. Logan. The name meant nothing. The voice did. A pulse behind his eyes. A flicker of something old. "Back off," Logan growled. Storm dropped down beside Scott, eyes wide with grief. "He's not the same." "No," Logan said. "I'm not." "You killed 24 operatives in under 4 minutes, Cyclops said. "You didn't even ask why they came." "I don't care why. They smelled like weapons, so I treated them like one." Beast stepped between them, both hands raised. "We're not your enemy." "Then stop following me like one." "You're not well." "I'm alive." His voice cracked. "That's more than I was when I was your soldier." Cyclops stepped closer. "You weren't a soldier, Logan. You were our friend." "Then why did you let them do this to me?" The snow fell silent. No one spoke. Beast opened his mouth, but Logan had already moved. Faster than anyone expected. Claws to Cyclops' neck. Visor humming. "You don't remember," Cyclops said. "But I do. I remember the day we pulled you out of that cage. I remember you almost killed me in the woods the first time. And I remember the first time you called us family." Logan didn't blink. "You think I'm going to cry?" he said. "No," Cyclops replied. "I think you're trying not to remember what happens if you do." The claws retracted. Logan staggered back like something had cracked inside him. "I'm not safe around you," he muttered. "I see faces I don't know. I hear screams I didn't cause. Or maybe I did. It's all knives now. Knives and ghosts." "You saved us more times than you ever hurt anyone," Storm said quietly. "That's not what the files said." "Then burn the files," Beast said. "You're not a report. You're a man." Logan looked at his hands. The blood wouldn't wash off, not even in his mind. He turned his back to them. "You want to help me?" he said. "Then stop trying to bring me home. Start helping me finish what they started." "What's that?" Logan looked toward the mountains, toward the last Weapon X facility still standing. "I'm going to end it. All of it. Cyclops stepped forward. "We're coming with you." "No," Logan growled. "You'll just get in the way. You might not survive." "I don't care. You're not doing this alone." Logan turned around, eyes burning. "I've always been alone. You just weren't looking close enough." And then he walked into the blizzard. Storm didn't follow. Beast didn't call out. Cyclops just stood there, watching him disappear like a ghost into white. But deep down, they all knew the war was coming, and the weapon they tried to save was now the only one who could end it. He reached the last Weapon X facility by dusk. Buried beneath a mountain of ice, its black steel doors had no markings, just a scanner that blinked red until it saw his face. Then it turned green. The door slid open. No alarms, no voice, just silence. They were waiting for him. Rows of armed men. No names, no questions, just trigger fingers and gas masks. He walked through them like death on legs. They fired first. Bad idea. The claws moved faster than light. Screams echoed off the walls, short and sharp, as blood painted every surface. He didn't blink, didn't breathe, just moved, one step after the other, until he reached the core chamber. It was worse than he remembered. Tubes lined the walls, dozens of them, bodies floating in green fluid, all of them versions of him, some half-formed, others fully grown, waiting, backup weapons, replacements. One of the scientists trembled behind the glass as he entered. "We weren't trying to hurt you," the man stammered. "You were our success, our legacy." Logan stared at him like he was already dead. "You built killers," he said. "You just never thought one would turn back." He plunged his claws into the power core. The room went red. Tubes shattered. Sirens wailed. Bodies spilled from tanks like nightmares reborn. He turned to face the corridor. The real fight was coming now. From the far end, something massive stomped into view. 7 feet tall, metal-plated, claws longer than his arms. A final evolution. It looked like him, but it had no soul behind the eyes. "You were the test," it said in a robotic snarl. "I am the future." Logan didn't speak. He ran. They collided with the force of tanks, claws crashing, tearing into metal and flesh. Logan bled, healed, got thrown, got back up. The clone didn't stop, but neither did he. They fought through walls, through fire, through memories. Logan grabbed a sparking cable and wrapped it around the clone's neck. Electricity surged through both their bodies. His screamed in agony. Theirs didn't scream at all. He drove his claws up through the clone's chin. Metal shattered. It dropped. He collapsed beside it, smoke rising off his skin. One arm broken, chest barely rising. The facility groaned above him. Explosions rocked the floor. Flames spread through the vents. He dragged himself back toward the main chamber. Every screen still blinked with one phrase: "Program complete. All assets neutralized." He stared at those words and whispered, "Not all." He found the final control panel. His claws hovered over it, then stabbed down. The facility began to self-destruct. He walked out, burning behind him. Snow met fire. Steel collapsed. The mountain shook. And for the first time in his life, Logan didn't run from the smoke. He stood in it until the X-Jet descended through the ash. Cyclops and Storm jumped out. Beast followed, eyes wide. "You did it," Beast said. Logan didn't answer. Storm stepped forward. "Logan." He looked at her. For once, he wasn't a ghost. "I remember her," he whispered. "Red hair. Fire." She smiled before He stopped. "But I remember." Storm reached out and took his hand. "Then, you're still you." He nodded once. Behind him, the last Weapon X fire burned itself out. He turned away. "I'm not the weapon they made," he said. "I'm what survived it." And for the first time, the claws didn't come out.